into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
With Nick Friedel the other night after the game, and look, if he keeps making a big thing out of the word promotion, that is promotion. If on your social media you say, boom, here's a link to this, that tells me, hey, you should watch this. Correct? He's got 17 million Instagram followers, another 5 million or so on Twitter. You're all over social media. Do you ever put something out there, Shaq, that does not represent something that you feel?
I was probably one of the first guys on Twitter. And when I realized the power it had, I knew I had to be very responsible. Some people are conscious, some people are not. I could tell he's not conscious. He doesn't really care what's going on. But us, I know that the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done. I stand for equality of all people. I've always been like that. Don't matter what religion, no matter where you're from. I could say shalom, salam alaikum, ni hao, say bon, because that's how I was raised.
I think he should have been suspended. I think Adam should have suspended him. First of all, Adam's Jewish. You can't take my $40 million and insult my religion. If you're going to insult me, you have the right, but I have the right to say, no, you're not going to take my $40 million and insult my religion.
Spotify is built on the back of the music streaming. So they take this money that's built from streaming and they pay this guy $100 million, but they pay us 0.003% of a penny? Just take me off. I don't want to generate money that pays this. This is why. Watch this.
You know,
The nigger thing.
yes.
Saying the word nigger.
Well, you've already said nigger.
D is just like nigger. Saying nigger.
She's calling you a nigger. It's like this
Boy, that he's a nigger, but starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially like the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And there are niggers. Start saying nigger. Allowed to use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. See nigger. Word nigger. Say nigger, and he couldn't say nigger. And most nigger.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rucha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, fellow believers of this truth, and shalom to the elect. So I want to touch on a short video. I ran across this video with Dr. Umar Johnson. He said some things in the video I'm not going to say, but he definitely, projected his voice or his feeling towards Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and how they didn't stand up for Kyrie. And it's alleged that Shaquille O'Neal was showing the same movie in his theater. So this also proves there is an awakening. But everybody that wakes up to the truth doesn't mean it's the truth, 100% truth. They got all kinds of doctrines in the Hebrew, I would say community, but, we all do believe we're Israelites. So what I would say is with Dr. Umar Johnson is these guys, see, none of these people are spiritual, and that's the issue. These guys, Shaq, I don't believe, or even Charles, when you look at the commentary, their hearts, their spirit is somewhere else, but their heart on the left-hand side is with that man sitting there at the desk. Why? Because when you have so much money and you're given all of the amenities, you don't want to give that up. You have to understand that. You got used to a certain lifestyle. You got a theater in your house, with all the chairs. But what happens is these people put these top celebs of our people, so to speak, on the spot to reach out to counter, what else was said with the other. So basically, turn us. right? But when you have the money, that money, what's it, 1 Timothy, I believe the 6th chapter, says money, for the love of money is the root of all evil. That's why Yahushua said, you have to, he who loveth his life shall lose it, and he who loses his life shall gain it. The rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom. Why? Because if you're conformed to this world, you're not going to want to come out of it. You're going to want to stay in that world. And we ought to be blessed as brothers and some of you sisters in the truth not to have been taken hold of that particular sorcery, right? Because it is a sorcery. Now, nothing wrong with earning a good living, let me say a good pay. You're able to, I don't deny that. You're supposed to get your daily bread. But if you make a good, a good little bit of money, it's all right. As long as you do what you're supposed to do with the help of the brethren, the body of the churches. But this, these guys, see, and that's why they did it. They gave them all of that. This is nothing new either, right? Even in slavery, they gave them all that. Why would they want to turn back from their heaven, right? So this is a hard fight for Kyrie and Kanye and whoever else. It's a fight. It's a spiritual fight, and it's hard to win against that kind of demon. That money has a lot of power, and everybody knows that. Anybody who don't believe that is, they're not sharp in the spirit. But I'll get a couple scriptures. Exodus 20:2. I am the Lord thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt not have any other God before me. Gods with an S. Not just one, but many. That money, it says, in God we trust. Now it went from paper to plastic to digital. Frequencies, It all changed now. And the more tech is pushed on people, the more they become a slave to that type of lifestyle. They can go anywhere right now. There's heads of the media and go in there and they'll say, hey, there goes Shaq. And everybody love him. Now, you heard what Shaq says. Now, he's supposed to be, his mother raised him to be a Christian, I'm sure. Right? His mother raised him to be a Christian. And told him that love everybody, to love all. It don't matter who you are, what race, religion, or belief. He says shalom 1 minute and something else the next minute. That's totally not biblical. That's not in the scriptures. And the Most High never said that, nor did he ever send his son to say anything like that. Let's go to Ephesians. Let's go to Ephesians 4th chapter. Right? All of this is good on Ephesians 4. 4:4. It says, there is one body, one spirit, even as you called in your hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism. So where did he get all that from? One God, one Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. So this is crazy. All we're doing is coming back and saying, hey, we want to worship the God we follow. It seems that there's people who don't want you to worship the God that you're supposed to follow. Now, we do say a lot of these people ain't meant to wake up. That's the whole point of this video. Who says, a lot of you people, you get excited. The celebrities, they're waking up and, Shaq is waking up to the truth. He might come out next. But there's a bigger agenda behind that. A lot of it is geared on making this so-called religion, making it aware, making it known to everybody. So then they can bust it back down and come with their stigmas and say this is what not to be. Now, it's kind of crazy how they are able to say this is off, this is wrong, shouldn't do this, But there's no re-education of anybody else who says these type of things, as I put in the clip. No re-education. No, there's no donation to black people, right? And you heard what Charles said. If I'm giving you 40 mil, how dare you going to put down my belief? Now, did you hear what he just said? Now, that means if I'm paying a worker and he comes against me being a so-called, let's say I'm a Christian, so now I get to cut him off because he doesn't believe in being a Christian. That's what that's like. Or he doesn't believe in what I have to say or my belief. This is what they're saying. Although this is a business, I know it's a contractual agreement, but that's why when you come into the sport world or you deal with those type of people, you have to know what you're getting into. You're willing to give up everything. You're even willing to give up yourself, your self-belief, your belief, your religion, everything. And this man Kanye, whatever, Kyrie said, I love all people. But that wasn't good enough, even though he said that. And they still put it on there and said that this was wrong. Why? Because when you sign up, when you sign those contracts, that's, you understand, you should be understanding what that represents. Okay? Matthew 6:24, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he would hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. That's those riches, right? There's no way you can serve them both. Ain't happening, right? So this is why you'll see him wake up like Kodak Black, who went back to Christianity, right? It didn't take him long. I don't know the rest of them, Waka Flocka or whoever. They all wake up and they go back to sleep, right? Because you can't serve both. When you read the book of Romans, the first chapter, it says the Lord has given them up. 9 times out of 10, I can't say that the Lord is not using them, which I do believe as a platform, as a tool in his platform to wake up a certain amount of people. Or, there's a lot of people going to be woke up not to be the elect. You must understand that. But they'll wake up, and this is going to give the problem. And they didn't expect it to trickle over and trickle over and trickle over. So now they're saying, we got to stop this. This is just too much. This is going out of control. 1 Corinthians 10:21. Ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You can't be partakers at the Lord's table and the table of devils. Self-explanatory. Can't do it. Deuteronomy 28:16. 28:18. 19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. No matter where you go, you're going to be labeled. And somebody else's so-called atrocity is far greater than you because of whatever you and your people went through because you had the money. Kyrie knew this. This is why he said, well, where were you when this stuff was going on with my people? Right? But it don't seem like our people have any importance, especially when you got gang videos up and the shooting and the ignorance that's going on even between man and woman of our own people that you pushed, or let me say that they are responsible for. Right? You see how Eve is acting, our women and everything else that's going on? You see what's happening now? Who promoted that? Who promoted on television and the music? Who took the power out of the so-called black man's hand, the Native American? Who took their power? Right? All the promotion that's on Amazon, anything promoting anything else would have been fine. And Amazon is owned by them. So what this is saying is, as long as you can push and sell anything on Amazon, right, that's fine. Although Amazon is the biggest supporter of these people and their belief. But they don't care because it's all about sales. So even though you get the sales, that's not important. That's the important thing. But then when you trickle it over into a new, different avenue, there's a problem. So there's an issue there. So why is it a problem if they're both in coerce? This league, let me say that, and Amazon, they're pretty much linked together. But for some reason, this particular book, you all can read it, you all can see it. But then if it's on a certain particular person's platform and he shares it, then that means they have a problem with that book. So shouldn't that company be also sued for promoting and even selling that book? That's crazy. Let's go to 46. But as long as you post the new gang war and this and that and the movies and the, everything else, the lies of Christopher Columbus, Cristoforo Colombo, or Cristobal Colon, that's all fine. They lied to you in school and say they even give him a holiday. Then when you get in high school, they say, no, that was wrong. And you wonder why people all screwed the hell up. Anyway, this is crazy. What can you say? It is what it is. Let me go to 68. It says, at 40, it says, and thou shalt put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. So, yeah. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way thereof I spake unto thee, and there shall see it no more again. If this doesn't fit the people of the Bible, and as you see what's going on now, there has to be an issue here, because these people that are starting to wake up to who they are and seeing what the hell is going on, if that wasn't an issue, if it was to be untrue, and everybody believed it to be untrue, they say, let them people go, don't worry about it, it's no threat to us. Like, if you're so sure, like, it's not a problem with us. If you say, okay, that's who you are, but we are the people, then we go to dialogue and we show you according to the book, out of everything, no matter what any Christian or anybody else says, or whoever wants to believe what they believe, we can see the proof. It says, the Lord shall bring you to Egypt again with ships. As I read Exodus 20, Egypt goes back to the word bondage, or Mizraim. By the way, I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. No man shall buy you. Now, you have Christians and people say, well, that couldn't have been the blacks because it says nobody shall buy you. Well, that word buy was actually B-Y-E, meaning beside you or redeem you. You can go to the Old English and it'll tell you that. I think the worst thing is for a so-called black man or even a black woman to read. That's why schools were set up, so they can teach you and you wouldn't learn. That's why churches were set up. So they'll set up them pastors going back to the 1800s, doing the reformations of reforming so-called blacks to Christianity. And they set up there and said, hey, we're going to pay you, right, to teach these your young ones a new way of life. This guy, Richard Humphreys, he's the one who was a Quaker, actually, who owned slaves, who funded the HBCU. I wonder why. Let's all go back to replacement theology, re-educating. That's all I have on that. Shalom. Defense laws.